You haven't got your headphones plugged in. Plug in your headphones.
It is headphones.
Holly.
Say something. Okay, yeah. No, you're there. You're fine. You're good.
No, it was your headphones had come out. I saw it.
No, it hadn't.
Okay. But yet when you moved it, it worked. And we have video evidence of it and everything. Has Nan gone home?
Oh, no. Nan's here. Say hi, Nan.
Hi, Nan.
I've got her under strict instructions that she's not allowed to chat throughout this.
Does Nan want to come and do the episode with us?
Do you want to do it with Nan instead of me?
Nan would hate this episode so much.
Why?
Honestly, you know, like, this is the worst episode we've ever done. I'm only laughing because it is so horrific.
What, worse than the last one that we did?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hi, welcome to our podcast.
26 to live.
No, you can't be knitting while you do the intro. You at least have to look at the camera for the intro.
Okay, I feel like we should say our names first.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Oh, mate, I think you should say, hi, I'm Catherine and this is Rosie, and welcome to our podcast.
Okay. Hi, I'm Catherine and this is Rosie, and welcome to our podcast.
26 to life, where after 26 years of friendship, we have officially been friends for longer than a life sentence.
And Rosie has a new hobby, which is finger knitting, meaning that she's going to be looking down a lot of the time.
Yeah, I realised that in our last videos, but I'll keep it up here. I'll try and keep it up here.
It's fine. I'm interesting. And we tell each other true crime stories from the UK, and that's it. Let's go. You're not prepared for this.
What do you mean? As in how bad it is?
Yeah, so before we get into this, guys, this is the worst episode we've ever done, in my opinion. And it involves harm to minors and torture and buckle the up, guys.
Oh no.
Get ready.
No.
So, we are in Surrey. Where is Surrey, Rose?
Surrey's like, isn't that south of London, South England?
Very good. It's a region in the south of England. I had to Google that. And we have okay, I literally went there for my 30th birthday.
Did you just Google it?
Well, I didn't drive there. It was a surprise. I just
but Surrey's, I don't know. Okay, don't worry. Carry on. You go.
We've established that I can't do that, so I don't know why we're gonna, We have Olga Domin, and we have a man called Sara Sharif, and they met in 2009, and they started a relationship. Olga was Polish, Irfan was Pakistani, and they have a super, super volatile relationship. In 2010, a year after meeting, they have a baby boy, and a number of concerns were raised by Surrey Council. The children's services, they weren't happy with the way that this little boy was being looked after. And between May of 2010 and August of 2012, the police were involved 4 times. And from 2010 onwards, social services were involved. And the kind of things that they were raising was that the home was very dirty and cramped. They had rented accommodation, but there was only 1 bed. And so the child had to sleep in the bed with the parents, which I was kind of like, okay, life is expensive.
But... And this baby's 2 years old. This is in the first 2 years of this baby's life.
Yeah, first 2 years of this baby's life. But they did note as well that there wasn't a huge amount of furniture in the rest of the house, and there wasn't many toys and things like that. And I thought, okay, well, maybe they're just poor. But the things that they raised, which were more concerning, was that the child would suffer emotional abuse because they would witness domestic violence between the parents. Right. And in 2012, one of the children was physically harmed during an altercation. So only one of these children is
how many kids are
Olga.
There?
Oh, that's what I'm just explaining. So one of them is from Olga and Irfan, but Olga had a child from a previous relationship. Now, I will say that there is a little bit of Like we don't have the names of the children and all that kind of stuff because of confidentiality reasons. So
Sure, yeah.
it can get a little bit confusing. So I will try my best to explain, but if you get confused, just let me know and I'll tell you who
Do
they
you
are.
want to like give them all fake names?
Okay, so
Or would that make it
we
more confusing for them, for you?
no, that's fine. So Olga and Irfan, they have a boy called
Sam.
Sam. They have a boy called Sam, and he was born in 2010.
Yeah.
And in 2012, but the problem is sometimes you won't know which child it is because it just says one of the children was. Okay, so,
Okay.
but Sam is quite important to this story, so we'll stick with Sam. In
Okay.
2012, one of the children was physically harmed during an altercation between the parents, and that same child was found alone at the age of 3 in a shop, and then later found alone in Woking town centre. So, really, these children are just not being well looked after.
Yeah. Wait, but so how many are there? Two?
As far as I know, one from a previous
Right.
relationship and one between the two. That's the ones that are important to this story.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now, Olga then falls pregnant and she is due in January of 2013, and a little baby girl called Sara is born on the 11th of Jan 2013.
Is
7
that a
days.
fake name, or did you
No,
actually bring
that
that
is
up?
her
Okay,
real
that's
name.
real. Okay. 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 Okay.
7 days before her birth, the local authority said there's been allegations that the children have been subjected to physical abuse by both parents and the children have been exposed to domestic violence. So they are already expressing concerns about the safety and welfare of these children, and Sara hasn't even been born yet.
Yeah.
But she is born on the 11th of Jan 2013, and 6 days after she was born, this is what is declared. Whilst the Guardian is satisfied there may be reasonable grounds to believe that the children are likely to suffer significant harm, the advantages of the children remaining at home should be weighed against the potential harm to the children of removal, particularly to Sara as a newborn child, before we have a full assessment and understanding of these children and their parents' ability to meet their individual needs. So basically, they're like, yeah, we think they're going to be harmed, but we don't think that's as bad as taking them away from the parents. Is that what you got from that? Like, that's what I got from that.
Yeah. And but the thing is that if you take them away from the parents, then they're not going to be harmed at all. So how is that more beneficial?
Well, I suppose because they see it as like emotional damage that you're being removed from your parents. But to me,
That's
it's like,
bollocks, that.
yeah. So in May of 2013, Sarah's just a little tiny baby, but her sibling Sam was burned with an iron, and social services goes into the home. While they were there, they just find that it is awful living conditions. So there's no bedding, there's no light bulbs, like it's horrific. But in that same year, they say, no, it's fine, they can stay with the parents, but they make them sign an agreement that they would no longer physically abuse their children. Now, I know that if you were to see this, you'd be like, no way, there's no way social services does this. They do. I have had this with a child that I have reported to social services within my job, and obviously I can't explain what it was, but within my job, imagine the worst things that could be done to a child. I reported to social services with the support of my school, and that is what the response was. They called the parents in and had them sign an agreement that they would no longer do these things to that child.
That's so messed up.
And also in the document, it says you won't physically chastise them anymore. And it's like, no, there's nothing that a child can do.
So someone who's already awful enough to like do all these horrible things to a child, you're just going to take their word that they sign a document and then just all of a sudden stop.
Yeah.
That's so, oh my God.
But also, chastise is like punishment, severely punish.
Yeah.
There is nothing in this world that a child can do that is bad enough that warrants them being burned with an iron.
No.
Like nothing, ever.
No. No. Or yeah, no, definitely not.
In
And how old is he at this point? Poor little Sam.
only like
What,
three?
4?
3 or 4, yeah. In November of 2014, Sara was taken into care because Sam, her older brother, had said that their mother had bitten them. Like, bitten them. So I'm sure you know that I pretended to bite Leo's toes and chunky thighs and like my nephew's fingers every single day that I am with them because they're so edible. This woman has full on left bite marks on her babies. Less than one or two are like, what? They go into care, and the social workers and foster carers, they're like, Sara's super small, and also she doesn't respond to being carried, and she doesn't wrap her legs around the carer. I was kind of blown away by that statement. I want you to imagine picking up a 2-year-old.
Yeah, they automatically lift their legs up and
How
just
weird would it be if their little legs just hung down next to you?
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with that.
Like, they don't know how to respond to this. You never notice that it's a normal thing, but I would 100% know. Anyway.
If it could, yeah.
So a lawyer from Surrey Council says that these updates from the foster carers show that this is not one-off incidents. This is a pattern, clearly, of abuse. And in November of that same year, 2014, there was an application for an emergency protection order, and this is when a child can be removed straight away and put into an emergency placement for a duration of time. So whether that's to find longer term placement or whether that is to then return them to the home afterwards. And in that emergency protection order, it said there would be significant concerns if the children returned to the independent care of Mr. Sharif, given the history of allegations of physical abuse of the children and domestic abuse with Mr. Sharif as the perpetrator. So they're basically saying, don't return the children to this man. Like, it is a serious concern. In 2014, so she's not
just
even...
the man in specifically, or
at the
mum
minute,
as well?
In that, well... They talk about both parents sometimes. They talk about just Mr. Sharif sometimes, but it seems to be both of them, with Mr. Sharif kind of being the main abuser because he's also abusing Olga.
Yeah, okay.
In 2014, Sara is not even 2 years old, and she returns home with one of her siblings, but not with Sam.
Okay.
Sam is still away, and he continues to express that him and his siblings face violence at the hands of both of their parents. So the parents are like, no, this doesn't happen, and they just believe the parents, and that's that.
The thing is that that's not, unless a kid has experienced that, that's not something they're going to make up. Kids don't know to make something like that up.
No, if a child is lying about things like that, it's because there is something going on. Even if what they're saying is not true, there is still something seriously wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously wrong.
Yeah, but how? But that's what I mean. Is that how does a
well, let's say you're witnessing it and it's not actually happening to you. A child might lie and say it's happening to them because either they're confused or they're scared or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's still bad enough that they're witnessing it. Yeah, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. No child just pulls this out of their arse and goes, yeah, this is a problem.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. After 5 years of being together, the couple split up. So we're now in like 2014. And when they split, Olga reports to the Polish news channel, TVN24, that she'd once been going out to meet her friend, and Irfan didn't want her to go, and so he strangled her with a belt. She also says that he had tried to set her on fire. He had poured oil on her. And she tells the courts that she has been the victim of domestic violence. So at first, Sara and her brother, Sam, they're living with their mum they end up living in a women's refuge, but they have supervised contact with their father. I can't even call him their dad because it's like, he's not a dad.
No.
He's not, anyway. But by 2017, they start having weekend and holiday contact. Irfan Sharif, the dad, the father, whatever he is, the sperm donor, he had been in a relationship with a woman called Benaish Batul for 3 years. So they got together pretty much straight away after him and Olga split up. In 2016, they have twins. Now, the twins were born prematurely and they have autism and global development delay. Do you know what global development delay is?
I don't think I do.
So
No.
global development delay is a quite like umbrella broad term for children or adults who basically are behind And they have another child in December of 2018 who has,
Oh my gosh.
who have other health concerns. So in March of 2019, Sara and her brother make allegations again about their mother. And it said in family court documents that Sara had said her mum had tried to drown her, had burned her with a lighter, slapped, pinched, and pulled her hair. And her father, Irfan Sharif, he films her saying these things. But it's kind of like, is this true? Do we know if this is true? Has he coerced it? I'm not entirely sure.
Wait, you think that they're thinking that the dad coerced it to get full custody, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
But is that what they think?
They don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that this mother was perfect by any means.
No.
I don't think that I think that she did things that were wrong. I believe that she was abusive towards them as well, if I'm honest. But the court grants custody of the children to Irfan Sharif and his partner, their stepmother, Banaish Batul. And so both Sara and her older brother move into this house with their father. So now living in this house, well, it starts off that they're living in a flat. Is Irfan, Banaish, the older brother, Sara, the twins, and another baby. And Irfan was a taxi driver, and his wife stayed at home looking after the children.
Yeah.
They then move later, at some point throughout this, they will move into a small 3-bedroom house. So even in both of the living situations, it's very cramped, very tight. So everyone can see everything and everyone,
living on top of each other. Yeah.
Exactly. Throughout this time, Sara experienced just horrific abuse at the hands of her father. By October 2019, they have custody, and Banaish is overseeing visitation with the mum. And when they went to the visitation hearing, Banaish said that the children hate their mum. They call her an ogre, they call her Shrek, and the judge says to Olga, the mother, you should be courteous, like you should be polite to her. If it wasn't for her, I don't think that we would even be able to keep the contact going between you and your children. So that's what this judge says to this mother, at the hearing. But only 5 months later, these are the text messages that Banaish was sending to her sister. Irfan beat the crap out of Sara. She's covered in bruises, literally beaten black. I feel really sorry for Sara. Poor girl can't walk. I really want to report him. In February of 2022, she sent messages saying that Sara was vomiting when she was eating because she was so anxious. And she also then goes on to say, if something happens to Sara, I will not be able to forgive myself. She would sometimes send photos of the bruising to her sister, and at first it's kind of like, oh, were you being abused and you didn't know what was happening? No, do not be fooled. This woman is evil, like actually evil. Because at first I was like, I don't care if you weren't the one doing it, you didn't report him, you didn't do anything about it, therefore you're complicit.
Yeah, exactly.
But even that was giving her way too much credit. She also at some point said that she believed Sara had a jinn in her, Jinn, which means that she had a demon in her. Now, again, this is something else that I have seen where parents believe that their child has a demon in them, and therefore when that child misbehaves, this is just from my own experience of what I've seen working in education, it's the demon, and so you have to beat the demon out of them. When the family was living in this flat from November 2022 to April 23, one witness says that she hears this girl screaming and a woman repeatedly saying, shut the fuck up, calling her I can't even say the word, calling her a cunt and calling her a bastard. In what freaking world do you talk to a child like that?
No, you'd never, ever, ever, ever.
We know that we swear, right? We've lived together, potty mouths. It's whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You don't swear at someone.
No. I swear in road rage or like to myself or to an inanimate object that has I've walked into or something, but I don't
You do not swear at someone, and even more so, you do not swear at children.
Definitely not. There's absolutely no need.
Never, ever. One neighbour even goes round and she has the door slammed in her face. Now, one thing that I wasn't able to find
What
was,
area is it? This is all in Surrey.
yeah, in Woking in Surrey. So
Yeah.
we know that social services was involved at various points, but my thing is, were the police being called every 5 minutes? Because I can't find anything that says, like, there's so many neighbours that come forwards later. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
heard this. There's parents at the school who say, yeah, I saw this, blah, blah, blah. I can't find anything that says, okay, and we had 23 phone calls to the police within the space of
Yeah.
this 6 months. I don't find, like, no. So what were you doing?
Why
And
was nobody calling? Yeah.
why was no one calling the police? Like, just make a noise complaint. Just call and say, oh, I'm trying to put my baby down for a nap, and this woman is screaming and swearing, and this baby is screaming her head off crying, and it sounds like she's being hit. Like, can you tell them to
Yeah.
keep it down a bit? Just do that. If you don't want to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you'd always rather be safe than sorry. Because, like,
100%.
yeah,
But
imagine knowing that you didn't do anything and you could have done more. Like,
exactly.
That doesn't bear thinking about.
And
Yeah.
also, I would be so embarrassed to come forwards now and speak to the press and be like, oh, I heard this. Oh, I saw this. Okay, and you did what?
Yeah.
Like, why are you coming
Exactly.
forwards to give your interview now and then tell me that you did
Mm,
absolutely nothing about it? But this
yeah.
baby, she just endured the most horrific violence, and she was also used as a skivvy. These ones really make me question my parenting, because it was like, she did the washing, and I was like, Leo hangs out the washing. But this is to the point that she cared a lot for her younger siblings. She did the housework, and she wasn't being properly fed. She was constantly being punished. Things like she was made to do loads of sit-ups. Like, she's not even 10 yet, this child.
What?
Or she was made to stand against the wall with her hands in the air. At times, her dad would wake her up in the middle of the night just so that he could beat her. Like, to punish her in the
What?
middle of the
Like,
night.
she couldn't even sleep soundly. That's
No.
awful.
Now, in June of 2022, her school notices that there is a bruise, and oh my God, I've just realised that she lived there during COVID. Oh,
There was like no escape.
oh.
That breaks my heart.
Abuse during COVID was so like rampant. It was unbelievable. That was majority of my job, was making sure that children were safe. Oh, I didn't even think of that when I was doing this. But in June of 2022, her school notices that there is a bruise under her left eye, and it gets reported, and they pull her out of school. They say she's going to be homeschooled, pull her out of school. Now, she does later go back, but again, in March of 2023, the school notices a bruise on her chin and a mark on her right eye. And a referral to social services is done. But social services says nothing further needs to be acted upon. And
What?
at some point at this time, Sara starts to wear a hijab and is fully covered, despite the fact that her stepmother doesn't wear a hijab. None of the women in Irfan's family wear a hijab. So she's being made to wear one, like, so she's completely covered. Now, in December of 2022, Faisal Malik, who is Irfan's younger brother, he was 28 years old at the time, he moves from Pakistan to the UK to study at Portsmouth University. Between December of 2022 and March of 2023, he is attending university, but May 2023. But after May 2023, he is at home a lot of the time. So we now have another... Yeah, living with them. So we now have another adult in the house. He will later claim he didn't know, he didn't hear anything.
I don't believe him.
He blames it on being on his phone or having his headphones in. And he said, I never would have seen the bruises or any of the marks because, for cultural reasons, she always had to be covered, which we know is bullcrap because there are literally videos and photos of them at like family events, and there's one that the judge talks about as a family barbecue where you can see the bruising on her face. So you did know.
Yeah.
In April of 2023, the school is told that Sara is going to be withdrawn and be homeschooled. And there are reports that, so this is around the Easter holidays times, and a girl, one of Sarah's friends says that she sees lots of like bruising and cuts on her, and she asks Sarah what happened, and Sarah said that she fell off her bike. Now, please don't think I'm blaming this little girl whatsoever, because she's the same age as Sarah and she's noticed, bless her. Then she just is pulled out and homeschooled, and that's it. She never goes back to school again. The following months must have just been hell for this poor baby girl. On August the 8th, Sara seemed really ill to Benaish, her stepmother, Irfan's partner. And she calls Irfan to come home. And this was quite a common occurrence. So you know how I said like she was definitely a part of it? She would often call Irfan to say like she's misbehaving, knowing that Irfan would come home and then beat her really, really badly. Oh. And so she calls him and says that she seems ill, so he comes home. He's not in any kind of rush. He like ambles home, stops at the shop, and when he arrives home, she's really floppy. Do you know that kind of like ragdollish thing? To me, floppy child is the scariest thing ever. It has happened twice in Leo's life, both of which times he's ended up in hospital. Well, I've taken him to hospital within 10 minutes. Floppy is like they're no longer in control of their extremities. Yeah. It is at this point that he decides that she is faking an illness. And so he gets a metal pole from a high chair and proceeds to beat her with this metal pole. And just a few minutes later, this poor baby angel has sadly died. She is 10 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Now that day, it's not over, trust me. That day, they quickly make plans and they're going to fly to Pakistan. They book flights, they exchange money, blah, blah, blah. And there's even recordings that were shown to the jury of the calls between Benaish and the travel agent. And you can hear the kids playing in the background, like the other children. No one's concerned, no one's stressed, no one's bothered. They wash the body of Sara, put her into clean pyjamas and put her into bed. There is some evidence, though it's not proven, that they washed her in the back garden with a jet washer. The judge said that, you know, they weren't able to prove this, but that is what they think. And also, what the f*** is your plan here? Like, you're putting her back into bed in clean pyjamas. What are you going to say? Like, she died in her sleep?
Yeah, like...
What the hell is wrong with you? And they try and hide evidence. They get rid of the Ring doorbells, which, sorry, that's not how a Ring doorbell works. You mouldy aubergine. At 9:25 on the 9th of August, they are seen at Heathrow Airport going to get a 2 p.m. flight with all of their children and with Irfan's brother, Faisal Malik. And on the 10th of August, a phone call is made to the police. Okay, are you ready?
I don't think so, but I'll do anyway.
Let's do it.
Take a deep breath and tell me what's happened.
I cannot. I physically punished my daughter and she died.
Your daughter has died?
I killed my daughter.
How have you killed your daughter?
I beat her up. It wasn't my intention to kill her, but I beat her up too much.
So in this 8.5-minute phone call to Surrey police, he says...
But he's at the airport.
He says he's still in the UK. However, this is on the 10th of August. They have now landed in Pakistan. But he says that he's to the operator, he's still in the UK. Now, that's not the full call. The full call was 8.5 minutes. So he asks the operator to write down the address. And the operator is trying to calm him down. He's saying, take a deep breath, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I cannot. I did legally punish my daughter and she died. I left home in a panic. I killed my daughter. Go to 6 Hammond Road, please. Nobody's at home. Can you get someone there? I left my front door keys under the front mat. Oh, my daughter's dead. I panicked and left home. I think she was naughty after she just died. I beat her up too much. It wasn't my intention to kill her. So this phone call goes on for 8.5 minutes. And when I say that this phone call operator deserves a freaking reward because he was the calmest man in the entire world. Like, what? I just can't ever imagine being a police operator. I know it's not funny, but can you imagine if somebody called and was like, I think there's someone in my house? I'd be like, all right, get out. What the are you calling me for? Quickly run. What really annoyed me was that he said, I legally punished her. Like, you are still trying to justify your behaviour. And so he said he's in the UK, but he's not. He has left the country. And the police go to the home and enter the home, and they call, like, they make a point to say in the reports afterwards that it was a clean home. And I was like, a lot of the time in child abuse cases, the houses are like really horrific, and they are right. Yeah. This was a really normal house. Like, I don't know why I found that weird, but it was a really normal house.
Especially since in all of the past reports, it was because the house was messy and dirty and gross.
But that was when he was living with the first
with woman. Olga, yeah.
It doesn't seem that that's the case here. But the police go in and they're shouting, police, police, there's no response, no one's listening. Sorry, no one's responding. And they make their way up the stairs and they find bunk beds in a room. And on the bottom bunk, there is a fan pointing at it. And Sara's body has been covered with a sheet on the bottom bunk. She's perfectly placed. Oh. And underneath the pillow is a note. And I'm going to read you the note. This is the note that was left. I love you, Sara. Oh, why am I so blind, Rose?
Oh, I don't even know if I want to hear this, if it's like going to be him feeling sorry for himself.
I love you, Sara. Whoever sees this note, it's me, Sara Sharif, who killed my daughter by beating. I am running away because I am scared, but I promise that I will hand over myself and take punishment. I swear to God that my intention was not to kill her, but I lost it. My daughter is Muslim. Can you bury her like Muslim? Maybe I will be back before you finish the post-mortem.
No.
In
there
this...
he is. The way that he says on the phone that he panicked, yet he had time to write this note and wash his daughter and
get 5 children ready to go on a trip. Do you know how long it takes me to plan to go on holiday? And you've managed to get 5 kids to an airport, and you're all very calm and collected. I get stressed walking through airport security.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, are they going to confiscate? Like, have I bought too many sour Skittles in Canada?
Yeah.
And you are just all calm, cool and collected. 3 of you. You're all so calm. How are you doing this? Like, you are sadistic, evil. Oh. They also...
But what did they tell the kids? Do we know?
I think for the kids, this was like the most normal thing in the world. There is evidence, and the judge says it later, that the kids were so used to Sara being beaten. Like, it was happening all the time.
Yeah, but they must have known that she was dead, that she had died.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe they did. There's also, they can't prove it, but they believe that they would get her older brother to join in with the abuse of Sara.
Not Sam. Oh.
Yeah. Because that's what you're seeing, like how...
Yeah.
That is why the cycle of abuse exists.
Yeah.
They also find, and these things they'll become important later, they also find a skipping rope, masking tape, a plastic bag, and a dirty nappy in a bin. They find a metal pole hidden just outside of the home. They find a leather belt with the DNA of Sara, Sharif and Malik on it, as well as a bat with all 3 of their DNA on it, a cricket bat. Now, on August 15th, 2023, Sara's post-mortem is conducted, and Dr. Carey, C-A-R-Y, Carey?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think yeah.
We like him anyway. He's I feel really sorry for him. I can't imagine having to do this job. He described the cause of Sara's death as being complications arising from multiple injuries and neglect. It was not just one thing. Like, her little body was broken, she was so malnourished, her little tiny baby body just shut down. And these are the things that they did to her. Now, I am warning you, this is horrific. So if you are not up to listening to this, fast forward by like 2 minutes.
Where's my option to do that?
Sorry, babes. There are 71 external cuts and abrasions, and that is just the new ones that had been inflicted on her just before her death. She had been beaten on her head, her face, her chest, her abdomen, and on all of her arms and legs. She had been beaten with a metal pole and a cricket bat, both items which they had found. She had 25 fractures, including her collarbone, 2 fractured shoulder blades, fractured ribs, humerus, 11 separate fractures to her spinal column, fractures to the bones in both of her hands, and these were dated 8 to 2 weeks before her death. So those final 2 months of her life, she suffered. The medical experts identified a fracture in the hyoid bone in Sara's neck, which is next to impossible to have without strangulation. It's a really unusual injury, and it is the result of, this is how they describe it, vigorous and energetic manual strangulation. So this doesn't just happen.
Yeah, that's not by accident, no.
Quite possibly, this was on more than one different occasion. She had 2 open burn wounds on her bum in the shape of an iron, and in order to have inflicted this, 2 people would have had to be complicit. One person would have had to hold her down, and one person would have had to leave it there for a number of seconds, and this happened twice, between 2 and 6 weeks before her death. So, Banish Batul, you, and I didn't do it, and I'm worried and I'm scared. You did this too. She had a head injury. She had burn wounds on the bones on the inside of each ankle. So, like, you know how your bone sticks out?
Yeah.
She has burn wounds on that. And the only possible explanation that is given by the pathologist, and the only thing that it makes sense with the medical evidence, is that she was tied up and her feet were either wrapped around a hot pipe, but more likely, while she was tied up, she had boiling water poured over her ankles. There were 6 bite marks on her body. Faisal, Irfan, and Sam gave teeth impressions, and it matched none of them. Was her face her? She refused to give teeth impressions, so she had bitten this baby hard on a number of places, including on the inside of her thighs. And these disgusting, I don't even have a word. They're now out of the UK in a place where there is no extradition treaty, and so they can't just go and get them and bring them back. But the British authorities are absolutely hounding the Pakistani authorities, and they are trying to do something to get them to come back. Officers in the area in Pakistan where Irfan's family lives, they are putting out a reward, they're putting up wanted posters so that if, like, any of Irfan's family is hiding them, people will see this. The police are raiding the properties of Irfan's family, and they kind of kidnap their family, and I don't know how I really felt about this. I get that it was illegal, but I also was a bit kind of like, okay, well, you know.
Do what you got to do. So the police, the Pakistani police are on board with trying to catch them.
Yeah, but they can't, like, they almost have to flush them out, because it's not like they can just put them on a plane back to England. They kind of have to make their lives so miserable in Pakistan that they want to come back. And I wasn't really, like, I get it, it's not fair, because they I said they kidnap them a little bit. They don't. They hold Irfan's 2 brothers and brother-in-law. They say, like, they detain them, which I know you can't do because it is illegal. But at the same time, if they are hiding them, them, and if they're not hiding them, then hopefully they'll just, like, you know, turn themselves in.
Because they must know something. They would have, and I mean, even if they weren't hiding them, surely they would know something.
And even if they aren't hiding them, you would hope that it would be like, oh my God, you cannot ruin all of our lives. Like, turn yourselves in.
Yeah.
What the actual heck? So Irfan's dad says he doesn't know where they are. He saw his son, and I can't remember her name now, and I literally don't know if I care anymore. Irfan, and her surname's like Barstool. But it's not Barstool. Bashar. I literally hate her so much. I actually don't think I care.
Let's just call her the witch.
Irfan, so his dad says that he doesn't know where they were, and he saw Irfan and the witch when they arrived in Pakistan, and he says, oh, it was an accident, but Irfan should hand himself in. And I was like going round and round on this dad, because I was thinking, obviously, if your son tells you it was an accident,
you're going to believe them.
You're going to believe them.
But also, you're going to say, how the hell was it an accident?
Kill your child and then run away?
Yeah, definitely not.
Why would I? No.
No.
But also that makes me think that Irfan has no remorse for what he's done to his child, because if you have remorse, if I can't even say the words. If you accidentally kill your child, you are going to be so unbelievably broken. I would be like, arrest me, kill me. Like, honestly, I'm guilty. I did it. Like, do you know what I mean? You have no remorse.
No. And especially if you're then, like, telling people what happened, you know? Like, it's like holding back the actual truth. It's, I don't know, you're just
dishonouring her, and like, just, it's awful.
Almost like making out as if he's the victim, because it's like,
like, poor me, me and my wife and my children are having to run away because we accidentally killed this child, and now the mean British police are going to arrest us for accidentally having killed her.
Get rid of them.
Put them in the bin.
Put them in the bin.
Now, on September the 6th, while they are in Pakistan, they record 2023.
Oh, 2023.
So about just under a month since she died.
Yeah.
They record a video. Firstly, he doesn't speak. She speaks, and she says the death was an incident. Does she know what incident means?
No, I don't think so.
Like,
stupid.
Yeah. And, you know, this isn't even us being rude about her language, because she's frigging, like, she speaks English. She doesn't have a translator in the police interviews like the other two. Like, it was an incident. Are you actually all right? What does that even mean? Then they whinged that the Pakistani authorities are putting pressure on Irfan's family and it's been really stressful for them. I don't care. Good. Like, honestly, could not care less. She was concerned for the safety of her children, as where they were hiding there was no food. Okay.
What time?
Don't rip your children out of school then and move them across the world because you decided to kill their sister. And they also said that they were willing to cooperate with the UK authorities and fight their case in court. She also says that the reason they're in hiding is because she's scared that if they come out of hiding, the Pakistani police will torture and kill them.
Yeah, good.
I honestly, if that is true, you know we don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, is that supposed
you
to
did that
bad?
to her?
Because that's not going to happen.
No,
I was going to ask, what's the penalty for murder in Pakistan?
Well, they wouldn't be able to be tried for it in Pakistan.
Well, no, I know, but if say,
let's have a look. Death.
Good. By exile, hopefully.
By exile?
Yeah.
What, like chuck them out to the wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wolves are hungry.
Yeah,
I just don't feel it's like, I want it to be really slow. On the 11th of September 2023, the authorities in Pakistan raid the grandfather's house. So, no, Irfan's dad's house. And they find the other children. And they are all healthy. They are all safe. They are all well. And I could not, for the life of me, work this man out. Because if he is telling the truth, he's such a good egg. But he also could be lying. So he was like, okay, no one ever asked me about the children. I kept the children. And I said to Irfan and Banish, you can go and do what you want, but I'm keeping the children with me. And
so he was like, I technically wasn't lying.
I technically wasn't lying, and also I wanted to keep my grandchildren safe. So I was a bit like,
So that whole video that she did was a lie, because the kids were well
but
looked
is it
after.
that they only arrived there
After that.
afterwards? In which case, did you know where they were the whole time? But equally, you might not have known where they were. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him. But the other
No.
children are safe and well, which was obviously a big. But they're still in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So on the 12th of September 2023, they fly into Gatwick. And there's body cam footage of this happening, right? I think they flew first class. I genuinely am not lying. So
The audacity, the absolute audacity.
they fly Emirates, which I know is like a fairly nice airline.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have like those seat separators and stuff in regular.
No, definitely not.
So I think they flew first class. Imagine being the other passengers. The other passengers are like, what the frig is going on here? And all these armed police traipse onto the plane and arrest them both. There's also something fishy with the luggage, because they say to her, have you got carry-on luggage? And she's like, no, I've just got my handbag. But Irfan, has a carry-on. And then when they say to him, have you got your luggage? He's like, yeah, I don't have any luggage. I was like, what are you hiding in your luggage?
Yeah. Does he have anything in his luggage?
Don't know. Never find out. I was just being a detective and picked up on that. I'm sure they just did not care at this point. And when they are all interviewed by the police, you see them being interviewed and they're all like, no comment, no comment, no comment. Both Faisal Malik and Irfan why have I forgotten his name?
Sharif.
Yeah,
Sharif.
Irfan Sharif. They both have translators and they no comment, no comment, no comment. Banish Batul, she's interviewed. She doesn't have a translator and she does no comment as well. But before she starts her no comment, they ask her, do you know what murder is? And she's like, killing someone. And I was like, what is with the sass, you psychopath?
Yeah.
What they're obviously making the point of is the difference between murder and manslaughter. You stupid, mouldy horseradish. Why are you not understanding that? Like that. Oh, shut your face. The trial begins at the Old Bailey a year later on October the 7th, 2024. And all of these horrific facts, videos, images, everything are shown to the jury. It sounds like it was an absolutely horrific trial.
Yeah, I can't imagine being on that
I
trial.
really liked the judge in this, though. I read all his sentencing statements and all of his documentation, and it was really, really good. But this goes on till December. So the trial lasts until December, and they are found guilty. So Irfan and Banish are found guilty of murder, and Faisal Malik are found guilty of, what is it called? Like allowing the endangerment of a child or something like that. He's found not guilty of murder, but basically it's like you also didn't stop it happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're talking through the sentencing statements, well, the judges, and he says the minimum, like in order for the minimum to be 30, there has to be something sexual or sadistic to it. And the judge says that it doesn't exactly fit, but the like satisfaction that he got out of hurting her to this point makes it sadistic. So he's like, we're going 30 years.
Going for the maximum, yeah.
Then, well, no, that's just their starting. Now, once they've done their once they've done their starting, they add on all of the additional factors as to why you can increase it, and then they do mitigating factors. So anything that's good that like comes off again. So I don't know, like you pled guilty or you showed remorse or anything like that. He has no mitigating factors.
Good.
Literally not a single one. But he does have a lot of factors that add on time. So the things that add on time, how vulnerable she was due to her age, the mental and physical suffering that she faced before her death. So essentially she was tortured, but they can't.
Yeah, and the fact that she was in pain, she had all those broken bones and the burns. Oh,
the abuse of a position of trust. This was done in her home, her safe space, by her father and her stepmother. The fact that she was singled out among the children, so none of the children were treated like this other than her. And the judge says that they believe it's because she was not the child of Banish Batul, and the reason that she was treated like that and Sam was not
is because Sam was a boy.
Is because Sam was a boy. They used weapons including a cricket bat, a metal pole, a hot iron, boiling water. They used restraints of packing tape. The reason the plastic bags were important that they found with her DNA in it is because that was used as a hood, and they basically put that over her head and just made a hole for her mouth. So she had to sit with this bag like taped to her head. The assaults took place and within hearing distance or like seeing it of other children, so that's obviously going to have an additional effect. The older son was encouraged to bully her. When you found her close to death, you did not feel bad and like want to help her. You beat her with a metal pole, and once she had died, you then fled. You disposed of evidence. You took your children away in an attempt to like serve you, like you ran away, so you took your kids away from everything that they know. Then the judge goes on to say, like, I believe you've assaulted your partners, your previous partners, your partner's children, like your previous partner's children. You've behaved in a controlling, coercive manner. You have not shown any real remorse, and your main thing was to try and evade responsibility. So for the first like however long, he said it was all Banish. He was like, she did it, yeah. And then he turns it around and is like, okay, no, she didn't do it and they didn't have anything to do with it. And then he tries to take it all off them and take it onto himself. So he is given a minimum of 40 years. Anish Batul, her minimum is 33 years, and Faisal Malik's minimum is 16 years. Now, Banish and Faisal do have some mitigating factors. I can't remember what they are, and honestly, I don't give a shit. The judge makes it very clear to say, I want to point out, this is not a case of you will be getting out in 40 years. This is a case of, in 40 years, depending on how you are in prison, you may be eligible for parole. So considering that she was 30 when this happened, so she will be 63 when she's eligible for parole. He was 46, I think, so he'll be eligible for parole at 86. And Faisal obviously will get out earlier. He was 28, so 38, like he still will be mid-40s, hopefully later. But I think, you know, if everybody goes to their parole hearings and says, do not let these people out, maybe they'll die there, which would be really nice. I think we could do with that. In January, there was an investigation because Irfan was attacked by two what they called? Two people in prison. Two other prisoners.
Yeah, inmates.
Two other inmates with a tuna can. They like
oh my god, yes, I
a
saw that.
Can.
Yes, oh my god, that's so perfect.
I was like, oh, that must be so painful. That's like the worst form of like a paper cut, like you'll bleed a lot. But don't let him die from things like that. Just really like, you know, he needs to feel the pain. And also in prison, like you hurt a baby, like you are, you're lucky you're still alive. They appealed their sentences.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew, as if.
And how lucky are we?
The
The absolute audacity. How lucky are we? Yesterday, the decision was announced and they said, no, up yours, you, not a chance. Anything less than a life order was really lenient. Get in the bin and go.
What was their reasoning for appeal?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even read it. I saw that it was denied and I was like, great.
Jeez, what the heck? The absolute audacity to think that they don't deserve that. All three of them appealed.
All three of them appealed. All three of them were denied.
Good.
Couple of things. This baby, she was failed. Like, she was failed by so many people. Obviously, the main ones being her father and Banish and Faisal Malik. But how many people said, I'm concerned about her safety, and nothing was done about it. And we need to do better. Genuinely, how often do you hear about things happening and they're like, oh, why didn't the teachers report it? Why didn't the friends report it? People do. Teachers and people in schools and youth clubs and sports clubs make, like, make reports all the time. Do you know how many reports? Obviously, I can talk about it a bit more freely now. I'm not in not working in education. Do you know how many reports social services just don't listen to, or they're like, yeah, it's fine, or they do stupid things like the child reports abuse and they will call the parent and tell the parent that the child has reported abuse and then send the child home again. Never have
And then they end up not trusting the system because
they don't trust the system. I have had a situation with the contract, and after the contract was signed, the child tried to commit suicide because the abuse will not stop. Just like, we need to protect children better. I don't understand it. And
I don't understand why we don't.
Yeah.
Why that should even be a topic of conversation. Like, it shouldn't be a thing that we need to worry about.
I just want to end on Sara, like I always do, and I want to show you this sweet baby angel. I know.
I'm surprised you didn't cry.
Oh, honestly, I have been on the verge, but I was like, I won't get through this. Like, because once I start, I'm not going to stop.
Not ever.
And she was just said to be, like, bubbly, sassy.
Cheeky. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said that is probably one of the reasons that her father really disliked her, was because she stood up to him. He didn't deserve any of those babies. I hope they're okay.
Did you ever hear from her mother?
Yeah. And she had to go and identify the body, and she talked about how she was I really struggled because I was like, oh, do I read the mum's impact statement and blah, blah, blah. But then I thought,
It's not about her.
It's not about her. And also, I think she did abuse them as well, which kind of, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I really struggled with that one. Yeah, and she hurt them too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I didn't feel like, she spoke to the press and she said, she went and identified her, and she said about she was, her baby angel who was taken too soon. And I understand all of that. I do understand that. It does seem to me, though, like she hurt her kids too.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
That's fair. So, this episode was horrible.
Yeah, thanks for that. It was awful. Why? Why did you do this?
Not actually too sure, if I'm honest with you. I do not want them to ever get out. I think we can definitely, I think me and you need to go to a couple of parole hearings. Right, well, thanks so much. I'm going to go and cry and have a nap. Please follow us on everything, all social media, if you want to, feel depressed with us. Happy Monday, team. Peace.
Oh, God. Bye.
Bye.